computing. Hello, my name's Chet Davis. Welcome to another edition of Tech for Experts and Authors, or Tech Talk with Chet. I'm delighted to be with you each and every weekday morning as we delve into a little topic of technology to help you get the most from your tech. Over the last couple days, we've been talking about different aspects of cloud computing. In fact, let me bring up a little slide and do a quick review. So on Monday, we talked about cloud synchronization, the ability to synchronize or share data across multiple devices. They could be yours, it could be another person. For example, I showed you my iCloud settings, how I move stuff from my calendar. I add it to my calendar on my desktop, my laptop, and it shows up in my iPhone. So that's cloud synchronization, where data is shared across multiple devices. It can even be in documents, in word processing documents, or in slides, that you're using for a presentation, that kind of thing, spreadsheets, etc. Yesterday we focused on cloud storage, the very, very important concept of backing up your stuff, of getting your stuff backed up, saved, so that if something happens to your system, if something happens to your hard drive, if something happens to your computer, maybe a natural disaster, maybe it gets stolen, goes missing, you still have the opportunity to get that important data, right? Today we want to focus on cloud computing, the ability to use your computer in the cloud. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's go ahead. Let me show you a slide here and talk about the difference between local computing, something many of us have done for a long time, and you're probably still doing a lot of, and computing in the cloud. And something you're probably doing, but you may not even realize it. You may not even know the name of it, right? So in traditional computing, we may be connected to the internet. So in this little diagram here I am. You see the little computer and the display, the monitor. We're very old school, right? And we want to bring that. We have all the information available to us. So we have our where we go here. You have your application software. In other words, whatever software you're using, you have that on your local computer. And for example, you see the cute little CD and the little package there. We have that information loaded on my computer. So for a long time, you purchased software and you installed it on your computer. So on your computer is the application software, the software that you're using to make it work. It might have been Microsoft Word, maybe it's Apple's Pages, PowerPoint, Keynote, a video editing software, maybe you're using Adobe Premiere, Final Cut Pro, something like that. And the software is loaded on your local computer. And the data, the files, the information is also loaded on that local computer. And that's just what we've done for a long time, right? It's just local computing. And that makes all the sense in the world. That's what we've had available. But with greater internet availability and with increases in internet performance, we've been able to do a lot more cloud computing. Now, I will offer a brief distinction here. If you're an IT professional, if you're set up for a very large company and you want to offer what we call scalable services, offer these services for a big group of people, maybe for multiple offices across a large geographic distribution, in the same state, in the same country, or internationally, there is a distinction between web apps and cloud apps. But I'm going to lay down the brief here. Today I'm going to kind of fold them into one and talk specifically, put them all into one bucket called cloud computing or cloud apps, because we're talking about folks in very small offices. Many of you may be solopreneurs, solo entrepreneurs, individual businesses. You have your own business, and that's what I'm kind of lumping together. So I know there's a distinction between web apps and cloud apps. I'm kind of putting them together for cloud apps. So Chet, what do you mean in terms of cloud apps? Let me show you this slide. So instead of the application software being on your computer, it's on a computer essentially in the cloud, available to you when you connect to the internet. And that the data, in other words, the documents, the information, is also in the cloud. So cloud computing is, I'm really using my computer, whether it's my laptop or desktop computer, whether it's my iPad or even my iPhone, my smartphone. And it is what we technologists call, for lack of a better word, a dummy terminal. And there's nothing hyper intelligent about the computer itself. It's mostly a keyboard and the device, the circuits that allow me to connect via the internet to another computer that has all that stuff on it. A couple benefits, and we'll do a summary wrap up at the end of the show, but one of the things is you can have a less high performing computer as long as the computer in the cloud has all the specifications to run the software well. And then you're connected, and your computer is really the go-between. It's the concierge, right? It's connecting to these services that allow you to access them. So it's really kind of a neat functionality. So again, cloud computing is where the application software and the data is stored in the cloud. Chet, I'm still a little fuzzy. Show me an example. I'm glad you asked. So here we are in one that lots of folks are aware of, and you probably already use, and that's Google. If you have a Google account, even if it's a free account, and you're using Google Docs or Google Documents, so here I have, I have a word processing document that I've created in Google Docs. It's stored in Google Docs, and you can see, here's all the files that I have in my Google Docs account. So I can upload, and I can edit, I can work on them. The cool thing is I can work on them on my computer at home, at the office. I can work on them on a hotel when I'm traveling, doing workshops or presentations. I can work on them on my smartphone, on my iPad. So you have a full range of capabilities as long as you have something very important, and that's an internet connection. Now, if you are planning to go offline and be unavailable, not having internet availability, then you can go into the file menu and download the document, what we call local. So your offline mode, offline meaning off internet, your offline mode allows you to still work on that document on your local device. It won't be using Google Docs. It'll be downloaded as some other kind of a document. It can be a word processing document or a Pages document. You can do a PDF if you're just sharing it, not editing it. Lots of options. So I've switched over here to another cloud application, and this is Microsoft Office. So I do most of my work in Apple's iWork suite, Pages, Numbers, and Keynote, my favorite Keynote. I also have Microsoft Office 365, which is a topic for another day, called SaaS, Software as a Service. And so it's a monthly subscription fee or an annual subscription fee that allows me to access all of Microsoft Word applications in the cloud. So I can also download those. I can have them locally for offline use, but I also have them available in the cloud. So this is, you can see, this is through a web browser. So up here is the website address. I've logged into my Microsoft Office account, and I've opened up a template of a document. So I can do my word processing in the cloud. It offers us a great deal of capabilities, a lot of functionality. But Chet, why would I want to consider doing this? I mean, what's the benefit? So let me talk briefly about the benefits. Let's wrap up a summary here. First of all, cloud computing allows us to be what we call platform agnostic. In other words, it allows us to work on a Windows computer, a Mac computer, as long as it has recent, operating system, and we have a web browser and an internet connection. It doesn't matter if I'm working on my iPad. It doesn't matter if I'm working on my Windows computer. It doesn't matter if I'm working on my Apple computer, my laptop, my desktop, because it's the application software is in the cloud. As long as I can access a web browser, Safari, Firefox, whatever web browser you're accessing the cloud in, you're accessing the internet in, you log into that file server, you log into that program, and usually it's a pay-to-play, but Google is free. It doesn't matter what your platform is. So you don't have to worry about gee, is this software compatible on my Mac? Is this software compatible on my Windows? It's platform agnostic. It doesn't matter. Secondly, the software is always updated. So you don't have to worry about having an older version of the software because, again, the application software is in the cloud. It's on that computer, on that file server, on the internet that you're accessing. The other option it offers us is easier collaboration, the ability to have multiple individuals work on a file, the ability for you and your colleagues to build a presentation together, to build that white paper, that ebook together, because it's in the cloud. Each person can access it. It's not on my device, so I don't have to have other people connect to my computer and sit next to me. They can sit next to me virtually thousands of miles away by logging into that same computer. In fact, a number of programs allow us to have multiple people working together at the same time on the document. It's kind of creepy, kind of cool. It actually shows who's typing where and who's adding what. Lastly, it's 100% availability as long as you have access to the internet. And what I mean by that is, if you, like me, has ever traveled somewhere for business, you've traveled to do a presentation, and maybe I have a print copy, but I want to make a change, and so I have the hard copy at home on my computer, not on the laptop with me, and it's like, doggone it, I forgot it. But if you're working in the cloud, or you've backed it up, you've saved it to the cloud, if you have cloud synchronization, well then you have access to that document as well. But if you're doing cloud computing, I can go to Google. Even on the small computer at the concierge desk at the hotel, log into my Google account, make the change, print it out right there, and have the copy available to me. And you can tell I've actually done that before, and it works out quite well. All right, so that's kind of wraps up our 3 days in cloud computing. And happy to answer questions. If you have questions for about this topic, about cloud computing, about cloud backups, about cloud synchronization, happy to address them. Go ahead and put those comments in the comment field below, and I'm pretty responsive about addressing your questions and comments. Be sure you've liked this page. If you haven't done that already, go ahead and like the page. Even put a comment down. Share this with a friend. Remember, sharing is caring. I don't know where I got that, but is that Care Bears? I don't know. But delighted to be with you each weekday morning, 6:45 a.m. Pacific, 9:45 Eastern, as together we learn a little bit more about technology to help you become more creative, more successful, and more secure using today's technology tools. Chet Davis, your technology tutor. Thanks for joining me tomorrow. Go out there and make it a great day.